and welcome back to the Empower Hour podcast. I am your host, Charlotte, a life and mindset coach for career-driven women and entrepreneurs with a little bit of spiritual spice. And on the last episode, I spoke about the fact that I had been drawn to use my oracle cards to bring whatever message needed to be spoken about in the podcast episode. And today we are doing that again because I actually really enjoyed just riffing on whatever it was that came up in these cards and not having a structure, not having a plan, not knowing what I was going to say. Because so often when I do podcasts, when I do content, when I do lives or masterclasses or anything like that, it's all scripted, not like fully scripted, but I have an idea of what I'm going to say. I have an idea of what the topic's going to be and what points I want to cover and all of that jazz. And sometimes that's needed, sometimes that's like important. However, sometimes you just want to riff and see what comes up. And I feel like with these, when we get a message that comes through, when I get a card that I pull and then we talk about it from whatever comes up on the card, it's meant for somebody that's listening to this. It's meant to be something that somebody needs to hear. And I feel like that is really, really important. So I'm going to use the oracle cards once again. And then at the end, we are going to grab one of the soul truth cards to have a little bit of a journal question on for the rest of the day for you. So if you didn't already know, then you can watch this on YouTube. If you just search the Empower Hour podcast, you'll be able to watch it on YouTube, or you can listen to it on Spotify and Apple and all of that good stuff. So whether you want to listen to it, whether you want to watch it, it's entirely up to you. Obviously, I'll show you the cards on YouTube. So if you're a more visual person, then by all means, head over to YouTube, hit subscribe, and you won't miss any of the future episodes. So without any further ado, I've shuffled my cards. I'm going to choose one of these at random, just whatever comes out. So I'm going to just spread them on my table. Again, we have the candle going. We have a crystal, which is this one today, that I've just pulled at random from my crystal collection. It was the one that I was drawn to. And the card that I have drawn to is this one, which interesting. So I'm going to pop these to one side. If you want to get yourself some of these, by the way, they're really nice. These are the Rebecca Campbell Work Your Light Oracle cards. I just got mine from Amazon. They are really, really nice cards to work with. So today's card, when it focuses, is this one, which looks a little bit terrifying, but do not worry. And this one says, no, wait, postpone, pause, say no. So for me in this card today, I feel like somebody needs to hear a message around a big decision or a decision that feels big to them. And you might feel like you need to say yes to it. It might feel like you have no other option but to say yes to it, even though it's not truly what you want. This might not feel relevant for you. However, if you are the person that this feels relevant to, because I feel like this is very specific to one person, if you are the person that this feels relevant to, then there's a reason you're listening to this episode today. It might be that you don't normally listen to my podcast and you just stumbled across it today. And if that is you and this means something for you, then know that that was no accident. Know that you were meant to listen to this episode. So yeah, what I feel with this is that there's a big decision coming up for you, or a big decision that is currently on your mind, and you feel you have no other option than to say yes to it. You feel like you can't say no to this situation. But what I feel like today is that you need to wait, you need to think, and you need to pause. And not because saying yes is the wrong choice. And I'm not here to tell you whether it's the right or wrong decision. I don't know what this decision is. This is just what I'm feeling today when I look at this, right? But I feel like it's not that yes is the wrong decision, but you need to think about what you truly want. And you might even need to journal on this. You might need to do some pros and cons and have a real think about, is this what you truly want, or is this what you feel like you should want? I feel like there's an element of, well, I should say yes to this because, in reality, this is what I should want. But is it truly what you want? Is that what deep down you want? Or is it because you feel like you should say yes to this opportunity or this thing that's coming up for you? And you might even have like a little niggle. I feel like you've got this little niggle going, I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure if I should say yes to this. And if you do have that gut feeling, what I will say is listen to that intuition. Don't act on it just yet. Like if you can have that time to think about it first, rather than just jump straight into that yes decision. Think about it, because there's a reason. Like when we get these gut feelings, that is your intuition speaking. And what happens is we ignore that sometimes, only to go, oh, I should have listened to my gut. I knew I was right. Like the way I describe it is sometimes you meet someone, right? You've never met them before, but sometimes you meet someone and sometimes you have this immediate connection, this click, and it's like you've known them your whole life, right? But then other times you meet someone and you go, you know what? They've not said anything or done anything wrong to you, but you just have this feeling about them. You just have this, I'm not sure I can trust you. I'm not sure how I feel about you as a person. That is your gut speaking, right? That is your intuition trying to guide you. But so often we shut that down because our logical brain kicks in and goes, yeah, but they've not done anything wrong to me, or yeah, but I should want this situation. When we listen to our gut, when we really tune into it, number one, it builds more self-trust, because 9 times out of 10, your gut is right. But also, you're getting that gut feeling for a reason. Whether you want to think about it as your subconscious mind telling you something, or whether you want to think about it as, the divine or the universe, or however you want to think about it. For me, I call it the universe, but whatever you want to call it, whether you call it the divine guidance pushing you to have a think about that decision, like however you think about it, there's a reason you're getting that gut feeling. And when we think about situations where you've had a gut feeling before, and then that gut feeling in 6 months, 6 years, whatever, has turned out to be true, you kick yourself because you go, oh, I should have listened to my gut. And at the time, it's fine. Like you were obviously meant to go through that situation, learn that lesson. But when we don't listen to our gut, we get the same lessons over and over and over again. And it's why, like I had it a few years ago where I said to my mum, I was like, I keep getting the same thing happen over and over and over and over and again. And she was like, yeah, but until you learn that lesson, they will keep sending it you the same thing. Until you learn that lesson, you're gonna get the same situations. And it's only when I started to tune into my gut and started to really think about things and really listen to my intuition that I didn't get the same lessons over and over again, because I got, you know what, I get it. I've learned that lesson. Okay, cool. Right. What else do I need to learn in this lifetime, in this human experience, which is what I call it, right? Because I believe that we are souls in a human body having a human experience. And I also believe in something called soul contracts, which I could go into on another episode, but I believe that we are on this earth for a reason and to learn certain lessons, and we need to learn those lessons, because if we don't, we keep getting the same ones over and over again, which is where that frustration kicks in of like, why does this keep happening to me? And it's because you're not learning that lesson, you're not listening to your gut, you're not learning the lesson, they're not then taking it forward. So going back to this card, if this is for you today, and it's strange to do an episode just purely with one person in mind, but for some reason that's what's come up today. If this is for you, then know that you don't have to do something just because it feels like you have to like follow the path that everybody else has followed, right? You are your own person. You can make your own decision. You can make your own path. That's up to you. Like you have the free will to choose on that path, which way you go down. And it's whatever feels right to you. I am not telling you to say yes or no to this decision. What I am saying is just have a think. Like it's entirely up to you what you do, but the feeling that I'm getting with this card and with whoever it is that I'm speaking to with this episode right now is to just pause, have a think about what it is that you actually want, whether this is what you actually want, whether you want to go down that path, whether you don't want to go down that path, and know that whatever decision you make on that is the right decision for you at that time, no matter how it turns out in the long term, right? And I don't know how it will turn out in the long term. I don't even know what it is that I'm talking about in regards to this decision. But just know that the decision you make as long as you are listening to your gut, you are listening to your intuition, you're being guided by that and not by everybody else's opinion on what you should or shouldn't do, know that that's the right decision for you at this time, no matter how it turns out. So that is today's card. I won't remember a lot of this that I've spoken about today. That's what tends to happen. When I do readings, I used to go to a spiritual development circle, and when I used to do readings there, I did not remember the majority of what I said, because it comes to you. You're not consciously thinking about, what you're saying. You're just having a feeling or words or like situations that come to you. You're not thinking about, oh, well, I'm going to say this sentence next, and then I'm going to say that sentence next. There's no structure to it. It just flows and it just comes out, which is why I feel like these oracle led podcast episodes are going to feel quite rambly, because there is no structure. It just comes, and whatever comes out comes out. So if that has landed for you, then I'm so glad that you were able to come across this episode today, because it's what you needed to hear. And there's a reason that card fell out. There's a reason that you have clicked on this episode today as well. So I'm going to choose I'm not going to choose. I'm going to be pulled to one of these Soul Truth cards, which is this deck here. So I will just shuffle these about, and then I'm just going to pull one of these. So again, at random, we're going to go for this card today, and we're going to see what it says on the front, and then we're going to see what it says on the back. So this is today's card, and it says, am I consistently showing up? So this could mean anything, right, in terms of consistency. Is it that you have promised yourself that you are going to get back on the wagon, so to speak, with moving more, getting out for a walk, eating better, getting a better sleep routine, being consistent with those needle movers in the business, being consistent with how you manage your time at work and having set days to do set tasks at work, right? Are you being consistent with that and showing up for yourself? And then again, I think this really does link actually with the card we've just had in terms of that waiting and pausing and thinking. Like, are you showing up for yourself in this decision? The decision that you're going to make, is it because you're showing up for yourself and making that decision for you, or is it because you're showing up for other people and what society think you should make that decision on? So again, like when I did this last time and I pulled one of these cards, it did relate to the oracle cards as well. So on the back of this card then, we have, some trade their dreams for comfort, yet comfort is the enemy of progress. Success requires showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, and even when it feels uncomfortable. It takes guts and an endless vision to stay consistent to your dream. Again, like this for me relates to the card we had, because trading your dreams for comfort is making decisions based on what you think you should do, based on what everybody else says you should do, based on societal norms, right? In theory, I shouldn't want to do my business full time because I've got a well-paid job. I enjoy my job. I work from home. I shouldn't leave that comfort for the risk of having your own business. But that's my dream, right? It might not be somebody else's dream. But if I stayed in that comfort, if I didn't grow, if I didn't like take a little risk and become uncomfortable in that growth situation, then I'd be living someone else's dream, not mine. So that's what I take away from this today. And then in terms of your journal prompt, so you can either do this now if you are able to pause the video and have a bit of a journaling session. You can do that now, or pause the podcast, or simply do it when you get back and you've got the time to. So today's one is, where can you be more consistent in your life in alignment with your soulful goals? Then take action and show up. So where can you be more consistent in your life in alignment with your soul? So in alignment with what truly lights you up, with what truly makes you happy. And then what action can you take to show up with these? So that is today's journal card. I hope you're enjoying these slightly different podcast episodes where we purely base it on one of the oracle cards. Let me know your feedback. Simply pop me a DM on Instagram at Collective Health UK, or you can, if you're watching on YouTube, pop me a comment in the comments section to let me know how you're getting on. Let me know if this landed for you, and if it did, then I'm really, really glad that it was something that you needed to hear today. And if you want to find out more about how to work with me in terms of coaching, in terms of masterclasses that we do, in terms of our free community that we have as well, then simply head over to our Instagram at Collective Health UK. I will pop everything you need to know in the descriptions of YouTube or on the Spotify and Apple platforms. But until next time, have a great rest of your day and week, and I will see you very, very soon.